Hey guys, Bryan here from Liquid Concepts. So today let's talk a little bit about mirrors. And so what we've got here is a customer's dropped off a set of mirrors for an older model Corvette. And so I believe it's like a late 70s, maybe early 80s, not exactly 100% sure. But anyways, we've got these two pieces right here off of the Vette. And so of course, 2-piece mirror, not a big deal, but wanted to shoot a quick little video, show you guys a few tips, few tricks, and also of course see how they come out afterwards. So of course the biggest thing is number one, these are metal, so of course we've blasted them back down, got them back down to bare metal, completely repainted them, reprimered them, made sure that everything is good on the base layer itself. And then once we've done that, now that we have the correct paint and the correct prep that we need on them, now we can go ahead and do the hydrographics. So in this case, this customer wanted a carbon fiber look. So not a big deal, we do carbon fiber all the time, but these are very intricate pieces because you've got a really large curve going all the way around here. And also on something like this, this is quite different. And so the way that this thing attaches on here, let's see if I can get this right, is it sits more or less like this right here. And so on the car, this is pretty much what you see, and this is how it's going to set. And so a couple of things to remember whenever you're doing something like this. Because they are two pieces, it is somewhat possible to make the carbon all look the same. But in a case like this where you have such a round area like this right here, that's going to be really hard to do. And so a lot of the times what we may have to do is just inform the customer that this may not be possible to make everything look exactly perfect without a lot and lots of detail and orientation. And then you're going to have lines in the carbon on where we had to piece it together. And then of course it just doesn't look as good. So let's take a look at these two pieces, talk about them, and show you guys what we're going to do to make sure that everything comes out looking the best that we can do for the customer itself. So let's get started. Okay, so as you can tell, this is exactly how this piece sits in here. It fits in here with these parts right here, and then it sets just like this. And so what the game plan is going to be is we're going to have a couple of different things. Number one, this is going to be in one dip. Now, again, we've already informed the customer about the stretch coming around this area. Not really much that we can do with this, but this is going to be a very simple dip. We're just gonna go straight down with it and then allow that to stretch up in there. Now, in saying that, you could technically dip half of this here and then turn around and dip the other half. I'm not saying you can't. The only problem is whenever this is on here, like this right here, you now have a seam that's going to be going right down the middle, and these lines right here will never line up with these lines up here. So you got to pick the lesser of the two evils on, do you want the stretch or do you want the line? Of course, you can do it either way. This is the way that we're going to go ahead and approach it. So that way it's all more uniform, all more one piece. So that takes care of this one, but let's talk about the base of it. So again, we know that the base is going to sit like this right here. It's going to sit on the car just like that. And so of course you've got the part right here, and then you've got the part right here. Now, if you'll notice, whenever it's sitting on the car itself, this is seen by, of course, the driver, and then this is, of course, seen on the exterior of the vehicle like that. And so what we're actually going to do is, whenever this is sitting here like this, we're actually going to try to make sure that we get that line of carbon fiber on right here on this edge. Now, again, you could do this in two dips. You could do it in one half here, tape a line, do another dip over there. Not a big deal, but in this case, we're actually going to roll this because it is a more flat surface all the way around. So I think this is going to actually work out really well, and we're going to try to put our line more right here. So then that way, whenever it's sitting underneath this right here, it's almost always going to be in a shadow. So therefore, you're almost never going to see that body line and that transition from the carbon on this side wrapping around to the carbon on this side. And then of course they don't line up. So what we're going to do on this one is this one's going to be a little bit more complicated of a dip. We're actually going to roll this one, and so we're going to come down into it like that, and then we're essentially going to roll it just like that. So that's going to be what we're going to do on that. Now, let's go ahead, let's get the film laid out for all of these. Let's get this all prepped and ready, and let's get to dipping this and show you guys the end result. So let's get started. All right, so you can see here, I've got plenty of room to take this, wrap it around, all the way around. Now, the biggest thing is this is way more than enough room than what I need, but whenever you factor in the point that I have to use my hands to be able to still go in the water with it and in the film, that's why I went ahead and cut the extra all the way around. So, of course, we have this right here. We can do this. I have plenty of room for my hands to still move like that. So that's the reason why we cut this such a large piece. Not because of a waste, but because I still wanted to be able to be comfortable as I'm taking this and spinning it and doing what I need to do with it. Now, moving on to the next one, you can see we got a couple of different things. Number one, I have a very large piece of film. Now, again, I'm not actually rolling this in at all, but what we found is sometimes whenever you do cut the larger pieces like that, it does help whenever it's stretching up an object to help prevent some of the stretch. Now, again, it's not going to prevent all of it, but it does help with it. So then that way it's not really stretched as it's wrapping up the object. Other thing is as we're going down with it, of course, we're going to be going down just like that. So number one, we have this taped up right here. So that way all this is taped. No water's going to be pushing out into here, blowing out any objects. And then of course, number two, I've got back taped this edge. Now this is not completely necessary, but sometimes whenever we have an open area like that, and I want to make sure that that film goes all the way up and it doesn't get broken because the water is rushing out like that, I make sure that I tape this up like that, so then as we're going down with it, like this right here, we can make sure that the film has plenty of room for it to come up and still keep coming up before it breaks over on this top section. So this one's going to be very simple. We're going to take this and go down just like that, and then of course, whenever they're done, they'll all be finished up and they're all going to be looking really great with the carbon on both the base and the mirror itself. So let's go ahead, let's get this in the water and show you guys the end result. Hopefully this video has really helped you guys out. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, definitely leave them below. We'd love to hear from you on anything hydrographics related, as well as if you think that we missed anything on this or you'd like to see other videos, definitely let us know on that as well. We'd love to hear from you guys on anything hydrographics related. If you haven't already, definitely hit the subscribe button. We'd love to have you subscribe to our weekly tips and tricks on hydrographics, paint, and anything in between. If you haven't already, definitely check out the website. It has everything that you need for your hydrographic setup. I'm Bryan from Liquid Concepts, and this is how we customize your world. We'll see you guys next time.